is happening with Allison B.
Well, hello there, and my name is Allison B., and this is my 7th episode of What is Happening, which is a video talk show that is sharing ideas to make a better you and me. The title of today's episode is called Just Keep Moving, and I picked this title because if one has a health scare or a setback in one of their routines, it's easy to kind of like give up on exercising or being active. And I'm going to encourage you that we just got to keep moving. We got to get up and start and to help with our better health. So today's episode is going to include my special guest, Sierra, tips on how to have a healthier lifestyle navigating myasthenia gravis, and some of my must-haves. So I want to share my screen really quick. And it is time for our coffee chat. So welcome, Sierra.
Hello.
Hello. So this is Sierra, and she has a doctorate in physical therapy and a bachelor's in physiology. So I wanted her to come on to share her expertise, but she's also very special in my life because she's my daughter-in-law. So welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. So I kind of get the physical therapy part of your job description, but tell us about what physiology entails.
Physiology is the function of the human body. And so we have anatomy, that's kind of the structure, and then physiology is more the function of our body. And so I study that in my bachelor's and then my master's degree too, which I studied vascular aging there. And so, yeah, just more about the human body.
So she's going to be a great resource for us. So as you know, if you've watched the show, we always start with coffee chat. So it's just where you pick your favorite coffee mug or whatever, and you share why it's special to you. So do you want to go first?
Well, I do have coffee in the morning, but I usually don't have it in a mug because I have iced coffee. But I do carry my water bottle around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I like to stay hydrated, so I'd like to drink a couple of these every day.
Smart. So how many glasses of water would that be?
You know, it's like, I think it's about 3. Because if I fill this up at work, it's about 3 of like the little cups that they have at work.
Okay. Well, I brought my coffee mug for today, and it is my travel coffee mug because we drove down this morning to come and visit and to do this podcast and to visit my little grandson. So I have found that I can drink coffee like all day long. And at home, I'll just drink it in a regular mug. But then I can just drink it so fast. But in here, if I put that same one mug in here, it'll last hours. And I love that. So it was great for work because I would just like sip it, just having that sipping, and it would stay warm. That's another great thing about these. And I think I just got them at Costco. So that is a great find. So, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share the screen again, and we're going to talk a little bit about some exercises and how to keep healthy after you have had a setback. So, of course, when I went in the hospital, which is a year ago now, coming out, and 10 years ago when I first had the myasthenia gravis, I wasn't able to go to the gym, especially with that autoimmune. I felt really weak and my muscles were fatigued and tired. So it's hard to even start. And you've worked with some myasthenia gravis patients, right?
I have, yeah.
So as a physical therapist, what are some things you've noticed or things that kind of helped?
I think that the thing that's hard for someone that has any kind of autoimmune condition, and particularly myasthenia gravis, is you want to avoid very high intensity exercise. But doing like low to medium intensity exercise is actually very helpful for the immune system. It doesn't cause overreactivity. So things like walking, and then doing kind of lighter weights, where you can do weights, but you just don't want to like get yourself into like high intensity interval training per se. And so keeping yourself moving, gaining muscle mass is really helpful. You just need to maybe take a little bit more breaks and make sure that you're not just like pushing to the max the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found this little thing on exercises, and I just want to kind of get your input on this. So this was benefits of exercise in recovery. So basically any exercise is going to be positive. Yes.
Yeah. As long as you like it and it feels good to do, then this should be helpful too.
Yep. And some good things about it is it's going to kind of take your mind off of what you're going through at the time. So you're not focusing on, oh man, I haven't been able to do this, my body hurts, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of resets you and get your mind clear thinking. So, and it releases endorphins for pain relief, and it's a mood stabilizer, increases happiness. Okay. And it'll just improve your overall health with all positive changes. So it just sounds like it's exercise, it's hard to commit to that sometimes, but there's so many benefits that, we need to make it priority. So do you exercise a lot, Sierra?
Yeah, I do. I always walk every day or do some sort of cardio like every day. And it can vary on how long, if it's a rest day, I still try to like get out and move. And then I have a strength routine I do several days a week just to try to keep myself strong as well. And so I'm kind of doing right now a combination of body weight and then some weight exercises, but it's not a formal program. I'm kind of more just trying to keep moving. I usually do that during nap time in the mornings.
Yep. Yeah, I know, like when I say just keep moving, start small. So I know when I came home from the hospital a year ago, and it was even hard for me to walk because my neck felt so heavy, and we just would go down to the end of the block and back, like just to start, just to get going. And then the next day my goal would be just a little bit further and a little bit further. And I remember I'd have to hold my head up or my neck at times, and then I got stronger and stronger. And so now we're back to walking over 2.5 miles a day. So my husband now likes to walk because before he had retired, he had come home and he was so tired. And so he wasn't really faithful about that, but I could get him to go sometimes at night. So that's another tip I want to share, is that if you could put it in your schedule to go rain or shine. So we kind of made a promise to ourselves we were going to do that, and we did. So we got just all the apparatuses. So for at nighttime, we would wear these lovely little vests that would glow in the dark. And then we even had little headlights we would wear. Sure, we looked like dorks out there. And then it was safe. And then if it rained, we still would go. I have special shoes for the rain, and I would just bring an umbrella and use that. And now, since we're both retired, we can walk during the day. So we really haven't had to go into our nighttime equipment at all, which is nice. But it's nice to have that partner because I feel accountable. And there's lots of times where I'm like, oh, it's too hot, or like to make excuses, and having him say, oh, we're gonna walk now. I'm like, okay. And then we just found the other day, I'm like, this is cool. Like just a little ways, we do have to drive to it, but it's a park that's all covered with trees. So it's shaded. And so we were able to walk the loops and not even get as hot when it was 95 degrees out. So that was nice.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you get started? I found these for some little tips. Of course, there's different kinds of exercise, and you said do what you like. So some people like to walk. I'm like, anybody can walk. You can even do the treadmill. I have a treadmill as backup to my backup in case I'm like, it is raining and I don't want to go outside and use the umbrella. Then I know that, hey, you got the treadmill. So there's really no excuses. Cycling, not a big cycler, but swimming is good. And then strength training, which is doing more of the weights. And then stretching and yoga and balance. So there's all kinds of different types. And do you think one's better than the other? Or?
Well, I think a combination is the best. So like the American Heart Association has recommendations for just getting kind of like the base level of exercise for heart health. And so that recommendation is 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic exercise. So that can be walking, running, cycling, swimming, in addition to twice a week strength training. And so the reason for the moderate intensity is just to make sure you're getting your heart rate up enough, but it's not super high intensity. It's actually like moderate intensity is like you should still be able to have a conversation. So if you're walking quickly or you're doing hills or something like that, you're still getting that exercise. And then the strength training, the reason for that is one, to build muscle, because we lose muscle as we age. And that happens to everybody, but it happens a lot to women postmenopausal with the estrogen dip. And then also it helps with our bone density to have something that is like weight bearing activity. So running helps with that, but you can get that with strength training or just any kind of body weight exercise where you're like pushing and pulling on your muscles. So I would say the one thing to avoid doing is just only swimming, because there's no weight bearing there, but you can combine that swimming with other forms of exercise so that you're still helping that bone mineral density.
And then do you think, because I always feel like my knees have just gotten kind of weaker with age. So if you're looking at the gym, like treadmill, elliptical, what do you think if you do have like weak knees?
Well, yeah, I think you kind of have to find what's comfortable, and sometimes people do better if they're switching it up. And so I'm a fan of the stationary bikes, or like maybe the recumbent one where you can have your back supported, and that's a good way to have just a little bit of pressure off the knees, or maybe doing some water walking or swimming. A lot of times people have more knee discomfort actually associated with more weakness around the hips. And so like the hips and glutes get weaker as we like lose muscle, and maybe we're just not using those muscles as much. And so if the hips are weaker, it actually puts a lot more force on the knees when we're doing exercise too. And so that's something where it's like, okay, well, maybe we need to be doing some squats or some body weight exercises to really build back up the hips in addition. Pilates is a great example of that, because there's a lot of like core and hip strength with Pilates, but sometimes if you find videos, sometimes they're just like really high challenge, so you kind of have to find something that's a little bit lighter intensity, but I think just switching it up, maybe not always walking in the same path, or like make sure your shoes are supportive enough, but maybe you just need to do some cycling and some swimming or something like that in combination with the walking.
A lot of things to think of. So okay, so stay hydrated. That works. I always have my water bottle with me, so I kind of like, I do that, and eat balanced meals and get enough sleep. So those are all good things too for health wise. And okay, let's see. I got another one here. So how to get started? We'll set specific goals. So this is great. I mean, I know I'm like, let's just, when you have to first get started, it's like, let's do it one day, and then, okay, that went well, I'm going to increase my time, or actually another day. So it looks here like they're suggesting maybe like 3 times a week for 30 minutes. How do you think that's a good kind of goal for a week?
Oh yeah, I think that's a great place to start. And if someone's starting like from recovery from something where they're like so much lower activity tolerance than they started, I actually have them maybe start writing down what they're doing. So that way, week by week, when when you're in the thick of it and you just can't even tell a difference, at least you can look back and see like, oh my gosh, I walked like twice as far, even though it was just down the block and back or something without stopping. But like find something that you can measure. And then always the SMART goals, which in education as well as healthcare, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then have a timeline set. And so that specific goal, walk 3 times a week for 30 minutes for 3 weeks or something like that, is great. Because that way you can check it off and
I love
know
this.
that you're doing something.
I like this. Just start small. I know just some people like, I can't even get off the chair because it just seems so overwhelming, right? The end picture, but just keep moving. And I know you're going to share that, or we're going to do a little segment on how to just keep moving, just doing daily things around your house. So, or a little exercise for that. So stay tuned for that. There it is. Track your progress with journals or apps. I like that, to kind of know how far you've worked or anything. And I know that all those little watches now will kind of reward you or keep you on time on how much you've done, or if you need to do something. So technology is kind of catching up with this whole theme too, isn't it? Yeah. And then schedule out your workouts, like an appointment, or pick a day or time that works for you. I know I'm mixing it up just based on my schedule, so that I am still trying to walk or go to the gym each day. So, but I can see where if you're working, okay, I'm going to do it half hour after I get home, or before I go home, I'll go to the gym, that kind of thing. And then don't they say you have to do so many days before it becomes a habit, 30 days or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember
the
something
like that.
But at least a couple weeks, I think.
And there's your idea. It's like you wrote this, mix it up, kind of keep it fun and entertaining that way. So, okay. And then avoid burnout. This one just says warm up and cool downs. Listen to your body, which if certain things get sore, take a rest. I know my husband and I, or Scott and I, went to the coast for our anniversary, and we did biking, and it ended up being 6 miles from not biking much before that. So, oh my gosh, my knees, my whole legs were just like, you overdid it. So, took a day of rest. So it's helped, yeah. And make it enjoyable. Do what you like. So I love these. I know there's dancing and hiking and team sports or lifting, and I know back there was this big craze with aerobics, which I really, really liked. And so when it's fun like that, it's more enjoyable. And work out with a friend or join a class. So I have found that with having Scott as my partner, for exercise or walking, that we're going more consistently than I probably would have on my own. So,
Yeah.
and then when I used to walk by myself, I would like to listen to music. So that would be motivating. And I feel like I don't do it now because I think that would be weird, walking with him and we're listening to our own things. But
Yeah.
I have found, like, when I do go to the gym, I like to watch little TV 30-minute clips. So I've been watching the show I Love Lucy because I just think it's so I've been putting that on, and it's a 30-minute, and I will get so into it, and it's so fun. Like sometimes I'll even start watching the next one. So it's really, time just flies when I'm watching the TV shows. So that's been kind of fun.
I especially like to do that if I'm on like my spin bike or elliptical in the house, just because, I'll listen to a podcast or something when I'm out walking, but it can be hard to stay engaged and not get off of the machine early.
I know.
You're just staring at a wall.
Yes,
so it's nice
it makes
to
a
give
huge
yourself
difference.
something fun to look forward to.
It does. Okay. So I know when I was diagnosed with the myasthenia gravis 10 years ago, the neurologist at the time said, he said, I want you to do the prednisone diet. And I was like, what is that? Well, because a lot of people get the weight gain from the prednisone, and your face, kind of gets bigger. And I hate this picture because this was definitely I don't even know when this was taken. It was during this last bout. And I kind of noticed, like, oh my gosh, the first time it really didn't, because I kind of did this prednisone diet. We're going to talk about that so I can share that with you and make it easier for you if this is something you're going through. But this last time is when I really noticed it, where the prednisone really made a difference on my face. But I feel like that's hopefully getting better. So I did start this prednisone diet. So basically it is low carbohydrates. Is that what you would say? Okay. And so I just kind of wrote down what things that I needed to focus on. So these were some things that I felt that I could eat in my diet and kind of follow that. So it was like fish and peanut butter. Is this all right? Greek yogurt, fat-free refried beans, things that were non-fat or low-fat. You want to do unprocessed foods. Okay, so I'll have this on my shared documents if people want to kind of look at this too. And then on here I put down as things that fly or swim is kind of another way to help guide you. So lots of broccoli or spinach, cauliflower, green beans, peppers, hard-boiled eggs, that type of thing, fish and turkey. And then on here I put what the low carbs, fruits and veggies, and how many carbs are in each one of those to kind of follow. Yeah.
The big thing with prednisone is that it causes insulin resistance. And so, especially if you already have insulin resistance, it can really compound that. And so you kind of want to work with your provider if you're taking prednisone as well to have some guidelines on how many carbs to have. But then there are apps like there's like the MyFitnessPal app, and there's some other ones where you can like at least track how many carbohydrates you're getting, or use resources like what Allison has listed out. And And so you kind of have to find what works best for you, because a lot of times people have higher blood sugar levels when they're on prednisone, and that contributes to the like weight gain and things like
Yeah,
that.
that part isn't fun. So I'm slowly coming off of that. I'm still on, I think, 7.5 milligrams. And so we're hoping to even wean down further on that. So that'll be good if I can get off of that. So, but I did want to go over these exercises. You can share them, less, especially for, maybe we're going to be talking about things that anybody can do at any time in your home, just to get started and kind of just keep moving. So do you want to share a couple of those?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing is walking, just at any distance, and starting with like shorter intervals, and not going all the way around the block if that's too much, but just finding a very achievable amount and then trying to do like 2 or 3 times a day, and then that way you can make sure that you're not overdoing it. That overall will increase activity throughout the whole day if you're doing that, and just adding more times before you start really tacking on to the total time each go. And then a lot of times when people are dealing with a lot of, if they're hospitalized or something like that, a lot of times people get proximal muscle weakness. So that's like the shoulders and the core and hips, like all the muscles that are for your stabilizers. Those get really weak when you're in bed a long time. And so things like just standing up and sitting down repeated times, or standing at the counter and then doing squats, just to really build your thighs, like your quadriceps, and build your glutes back up a little bit. And then, standing at the counter, you can do some marching, or you can kind of do like bringing your leg back and trying to turn your glutes on. Standing at the counter and just standing on one leg and just trying to make sure you're engaging your glutes and practicing your balance, because sometimes people feel more imbalanced as those muscles get affected, and that's just lower body, but and they can add some upper body, but usually what people struggle with is more that like they notice the weakness, where then it's hard to work against gravity to do your daily tasks even. And so it's good to start there and get walking, and you're going to start adding more and more as you can tolerate it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Because you can even do some of those while you're doing dishes or cooking, or just kind of talking on the phone, maybe, when you can be doing a lot of those activities. So get up off the chairs, off the couches, everyone, and start moving. Well, thanks for sharing all that with us today. Good to see you.
You too.
And little baby's napping, so we're going to wait for him to wake up and spend some more time with him. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so for those of you who have gone to the gym, or maybe it was you, have you had any exercise fails? Where I know for myself, the treadmill, that's like my biggest one. I'll be like on the treadmill, and like my little towel I use falls off, and I'll try to grab it, and then I know that I have kind of slid back and almost fallen off this treadmill. So, and then you're looking around, or you get on a piece of machinery and you think you know what you're doing. You're like, oh, how does this even work? And so I know it's not just me. So I want to share this little video of, his name's Adam, and he does really fun takes of different things. And this is his exercise fails one. So let's watch this real quick and be encouraged for when we do have a good day at the gym. So, okay. Whoops. I have seen some of these really good people who are wearing their exercise outfits that you're like, what are you wearing? So I could see this one happening with me, and that would be something that totally would happen. I've seen people like that walking on the treadmill. It's a great people watching thing to do when you go to the gym, but hopefully people aren't watching you or myself. Okay, so I'd like to share my Bible verse for today. And that is from 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. And it reads like this. Do you know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought for a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. So this is an area I struggle with, is keeping my body healthy so that I can serve the Lord, because I like to eat and I don't really like exercising. So and I'm probably the queen at making the most excuses of how to get out of exercising. So either my toe hurts, or oh my gosh, I'll sweat too much and I just had my hair done and it'll get all sweaty, or I'm just so tired. I don't know. Whatever exercise I can make up, it will keep me from exercising. So that's what is a big problem. So kudos to all of you that can stick to a schedule and do it consistently, because I'm in awe of you. And I have tried so many different programs too. So I want to share one that is successful if you stick with it. And that is what I call my 5-star program, or Lose 5 Pound Club. So I came up with this program years and years ago and presented it to the women's club that I'm in. And I thought that if I had a group of people competing to lose weight, it would motivate me. And it did. And I can lose that 5 pounds, but then I just gain it right back. But anyway, I'm going to try again, because this is my goal. And after this podcast, I'm inspired. I, have put on a lot of weight since this whole thing. It's been a year now, too, that I've gone on this journey with this autoimmune myasthenia gravis. And being on the prednisone the second time, and then I'm thinking, boy, I'm sleeping late because I'm not working. So that's, I used to get up at 6 and now maybe, 8 or 9. So I'm not as active. And I'm trying to get to the gym more. But this 5-star program, I wanted to start this with all of you so that we could have a little competition. But I'm going to Wisconsin for 3 weeks, and I know they have a lot of cheese curds and deep fried foods. So I'm like, this probably isn't the best time to start this. So I think I'm going to target August, but I wanted to share this with you now in case you're ready to get started and lose those 5 pounds. So I used to say if you follow this, it's guaranteed you're going to lose 5 pounds in a month. So let me share what I have here that I came up with. So this is, if you want to do it with a group, there's, of course you have to have rules, but you can do this by yourself too. But I had each person pay money. So there was that incentive. You could earn money for losing the most or having the most stars, and which will also help you with losing the weight. So you would weigh yourself, and then you're going to get just a calendar. So if you want to start in July, just print out a July, or if you're going to start in August, print out an August. And you're going to, on each day of the week, you'll keep track of your stars, and you're going to put them on your calendar. So you can just, draw a little star. And then I even got to the point where I would get a whole bunch of colored little stars and put them on there so it was pretty. And then use stickers. So whatever is going to motivate you, do. Okay. So you will get a star for every half hour of exercise. So if you go for an hour, you're going to put 2 stars on that day. Or if you go for 1, you'll get 1. Okay. And you get 1 star for keeping within your calorie limits. So you will decide how many calories you think you need to have each day, and that you want to keep at that limit. Or if you're doing Weight Watchers, is that points, how many points you can have. So if you keep into that guideline, you'll get another star. You get a star for drinking 8 glasses of water. And then you get a star for doing the tip of the week. So that kind of varied each week. So I'm just going to say your tip of the week, you can come up with that. Maybe it's no desserts. Maybe it's, no alcohol, or maybe it's whatever you want. I'm going to tell you a really good tip is to journal. And that's really, I think, the only thing that holds me accountable. If I write down everything I eat, that's really the only way I'm staying in that calorie limit, because I tend to go over that a lot. So like for today, if I was going to put down my stars, I wouldn't even have got one yet because I haven't done any of these. But I'm encouraging you that you can do this. All right. So anyways, if you do this for a full month and follow these and get us, let's say 5 stars a day, you're going to lose that 5 pounds. I guarantee it. I just know it. So anyways, I wanted to share that because that is something that works. I just need to do it myself. Okay. Then I wanted to talk about another option, which I tried, which is chair yoga, because when I got out of the hospital and came home, and you're starting over from zero, like if you haven't exercised in months and months and being older, what is a good way to start? And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to sign up for this chair yoga because I have a chair everywhere. So I can do this if I'm in a motel room, if I'm traveling. I can do it in my home. I can do it, if I'm watching my grandson at their home. So I paid for a month of this chair yoga, and I would say yes. I think that is something, if you are just wanting to start low key, getting some strength built up, this would be a way to go. So I started out really good doing it every day, and then just kind of faded out a little bit. So I really hope you have more willpower than I do. Okay, and then I wanted to share with you, eat healthy meals. So let's say you want to have some other foods besides just salad and greenery. So there is this website called Eat Yourself Skinny, and it has, lots of recipes. My friend has been making a lot of these, and she says they're really good. So I am going to suggest that you check out this website, and in August, I will be checking out this website. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to share. Let's say you are also going to be working on eating healthy and you want to eat more fruits and vegetables. And how when you go and buy them and then you wash them all and you put them in the fridge, and then you go and they are getting like kind of moldy or don't last very long. And I have a solution for you. So a couple of my friends shared this with me, and I think it's just genius. So what they did is they went and got some ball jars and they put their fruit in them. So you can see here's raspberries, grapes, strawberries. So I did it myself. I went and got ball jars, put the fruit in there. The secret is you don't wash the fruit yet before you put them in here. You just put them in from the container, put the ball jar on, put it in your fridge, and everything lasts so much longer. And every berry, really, I've done this over a year now, keeps fresh. I don't have any of those that get kind of moldy or icky when I do this. And then when you're ready to snack on them or eat them, you just take them out of the fridge, then you wash them and just take out as much as you need, and then put this back and it will last. So and here's my strawberries, and I've been eating both of these this week. So it's just a tip I want to share with you. It's just been amazing. And not only fruits, this has been a game changer for me with cilantro. So I put my cilantro in there because that is one thing I cannot keep fresh when I bring it home from the grocery. And put it in there, don't wash it, and then when you're ready to use it, take it out and then wash it, and it's just fabulous. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay. Okay. So so let's say you're sticking to this 5-star program and you're losing the weight. How fast, how many pounds do you have to lose in your body? Like, oh, I can tell already my tummy's not sticking out as far, and you're starting to feel like maybe, you look in the mirror, you think, oh, I can tell already I'm looking better. Do you ever think, oh, I feel like a movie star, I can go sit down. So I want to share something I ran across on the website, this lady that looks at movie stars or models and then kind of takes a spin of it and makes it more realistically of how most people look, trying to do the same photo and replicate the photo, and it just cracks me up. So I wanted to share a little bit of that with you. So it's called Who Wore It Better? So, okay, so here we have, possibly, let me find out. Okay, so here's the model on over here, and then this lady is Celeste Barker. You can go to her website. Whoops. And she just kind of replicates it. And I just think these are just so funny. And then we have this one. I mean, this is kind of how I look. And then we have this one. Okay. So anyways, I wanted to share that with you. So as we're ending today, my must-haves that I want you to have, remember you can get like the documents and everything if you go to my website on YouTube and look under posts, and you'll be able to find all the recipes that I share, and my 5-star program will be on there. And my must-haves this week is just for you to get those ball jars for your fruits and vegetables. You can get the 5-star program there. And then I did put the link for that Eat Your Skinny link. So thank you for joining, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. And my takeaway for this month is that, you know, we're going to get healthy. So we're going to say it's for this month, July and in August, because I'm going to really hit it hard in August. And let's report back to each other, like, if you're using that 5-star program, like how many pounds you lose. So anyways, thanks for joining, and we'll see you again next month. So here is to a better you and me. Bye-bye.